Have you ever wanted to hide? You want to help, but you have to take care of your family first. Maybe this next paycheck I can support causes I love. Tell me, how does this sound? You shop, click a picture of a receipt, and pick someone you support while shopping for your family. Well, check out communitypayitforward.us. Hover your mouse here. Click on the Verified Given Partner button and shop with any partner that will satisfy your needs. Grab the receipt because every time you shop, a Community Pay It Forward mission partner receives anywhere from 80 to 90% of a referral. You can find the mission partners by going right here. Each mission has a QR code so you can upload your receipt. And that's it. Shop, click, and pick. Join the program. You shop with small businesses and support great people. Great people who need a little help, or help to support the great people doing great things. Because with Community Pay It Forward, you don't have to hide anymore. Community Pay It Forward knows every small business is essential.
Into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and I know this because it says it right here on my shirt. Look at that. It's because I tried to put on Adrian's shirt earlier, and that didn't work well at all. I mean, my wife is much, much thinner than I am, and it was, hey, Stephanie. Oh, you guys are going to love to meet her next month, so this is great. I'm glad that she's in here. Stephanie Berman, I met her today, and she's got a wonderful, wonderful organization that you guys are going to be learning about next week, and this one really touches home with me because I know women who suffer with some of the problems that she's going to be talking about. So next month it's going to be very special. Stephanie is going to be joining the community mission partners as well, so you're going to be able to support her, and we're going to get her on a little bit before that. But wonderful, wonderful person. We had a great time talking today, so I'm excited about that. But Stephanie Berman, you're going to be meeting Stephanie Samos. I know that you two have a meeting coming up, and you get to meet the goddess of the grape. You guys will have a lot of fun, and you guys will get to know each other very well. So, hey, welcome to Pact Podcasting for All Coming Together. Tonight is the first show of the month, and should I just kind of tear away all of the things that, you know, I made the mistake on the first one, and then on the second one we had a last minute cancellation, and all of a sudden Stephanie goes, I want to support Dwayne. I want to support Dwayne. And I was like going, great. Kind of sitting there, it's like dialing 911 and wait to see if I do something stupid, you know. But Dwayne's here with us. Seems like a great guy. I haven't had a long time to talk to him, but I've had a good time talking to him. Tonight, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern, we are replaying this week's. Sorry about the dogs in the background. They just love playing for you guys. But starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, we are replaying this week's Footprints Forward. It is a show where we have the parents of Aaron, who is one of our teammates, our family members, talking about the loss of their daughter. And it was the first time that they ever came on to a podcast and they talked about this. So a 1 hour show that actually turned into a 2 hour show. And it was hard to turn it down at 2 hours because there was just so much information, so much feeling, and so much good that was coming out of that. Look, my suggestion is, parents, if you've got a child who is suffering, tune in at least for a little bit and watch this, okay? They give you what they went through. They give you an idea on what they wish they would have done. They give you a lot of suggestions, and maybe it'll help you find that path. And if you need someone to talk to your child, please reach out to us at footprints@communitypayitforward.us, and we'll try to find someone that you can talk to. Footprints at community or payitforward.us. Looky there. But anyway, we are here today, and first Wednesday of the month, so that means the goddess of the great, Miss Stephanie Simoes. How you doing, sweetie?
I am happy to be here. Wow, you touched on a lot. I can't wait to hear from Stephanie next month. We are chatting soon. I'm excited about that. Footprints Forward was so impactful this week. So anybody who missed that, definitely tune in. And that was Dwayne, if you weren't sure, that said I'm here.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really excited. Dwayne, thank you so much. I know he's in the background right now, but thank you for stepping up and jumping in. And, you know, this one is important to me because they're a local organization that helps our community here. And they do have a really wide reach. So it's not just my community here. It's a pretty wide reach of where they serve. So I'm excited. We don't often do anything local to here, but I think that he'll be able to share some really great advice that'll help people all over, not just here in Pennsylvania. So thanks for having us tonight, Zach, and collaborating on this.
I'm actually really excited about this one because of the climate of today, and climate is the heavy word there. But with everything going on in Hawaii and California and Florida, you know, God forbid I don't mention what happened at Burning Man, because, you know, that's apparently the story of the year.
We've got co-hosts back there. That's all right. They've got feedback too.
Yeah. So they just wanted to say hi, but you know, all the things going on, and I think that Dwayne's going to be able to really help us learn more about what they do. So Stephanie, why don't you go on ahead and do your thing, and then we'll bring Dwayne on.
Yeah, no, perfect. So if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Stephanie Simoes. I'm so happy you're watching. Zach and I have been doing this show for quite some time now, and we're really passionate about highlighting smaller nonprofit organizations and help them, you know, reach a broader range of people and get more support. I am a cause entrepreneur with ONEHOPE Wine. So what I do is I help people fundraise, you know, for their causes that are most important. I love that. Thanks, Zach. So what is One Hope? We are a cause-centered winery out of Napa Valley. We've donated over $9.7 million to date, locally and globally, to over 42,000 different nonprofit organizations. So our main pillars of giving are clean water, hunger, health, and education through the One Hope Foundation. But in addition, as a customer, you're able to select a cause of your choice. So essentially, every single bottle is giving back twice. And I love that you have that platform to choose who you want to give back to. The wine is great. The give back is even better. That's what I do. We'll talk wine a little bit later. But I'm just glad to be here collaborating with Community Pay It Forward, because as you learned last month, Zach is doing the exact same thing and supporting people through Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care. So without further ado, I think we should just bring Dwayne on and learn more about East Penn. What do you think?
Yep, let's go for it. So,
hey guys,
how are you doing, Dwayne?
doing great. A little bit of a lag in the chat, as you could see.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I was like, huh, who's that? Well, I must know him from somewhere, so but,
The chat
hey,
loaded like in the middle of it all, and I see Stephanie going. I see my name in there, and I'm like, no, I'm here. But hopefully that's all fixed, and as long as the video works, I'm good.
Well,
How are we doing today, guys?
So, Dwayne, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
Well, it is East Penn Search and Rescue. The organization has a very rich history. In fact, I belong to it going back all the way to the 90s before I broke off, did my own thing, and then got re-involved. Much smaller scale. They do locating missing persons in the woods. They do water rescue. They do some ice rescue, structural collapse capability, although there's not much of a need of it these days. So this summer's been pretty hit on water rescue stuff, especially with the drownings that happened this year around the country. Just there's a need for education, a need for people to understand that minutes matter.
You and I were talking about that because of a case that I'd experienced before. Water is something that if you see somebody who's struggling with water, you don't have time to really even think. You need to find a way to get them out of there, correct?
You do. It's not about discussion. It's about keeping you safe and finding a way to save that person's life. Many people fail to realize that moving water is probably the most powerful force on earth that we deal with day to day. Essentially, you can drown in less than a half an inch of water in your bathtub. And I just hope people realize it so that the lives lost due to water can substantially drop through education.
Dwayne, that's one of the things that we've heard quite often, that you can drown in that small amount of water, like in your tub. That's really hard to believe, but what are some examples of people who have drowned?
Somebody slips, falls face first, gets unconscious. They inhale that water into their lungs and drown. That's just one of the many ways that it can happen. Or, God forbid, a baby slides underwater. No, knock on wood with anything. Parent's not there, a toddler, they'll be all right for a couple minutes, but that water dripping, that toddler slips, done. We take everything for granted, but these things can actually take us off the earth in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. You guys were in an area that the beginning of the summer was a difficult time for the northeast part of the United States because of what was going on in Canada. What were some of the things that you were trying to tell people about smoke inhalation? I know that it's really dangerous. Being in Colorado, that's one of the things that we deal with all the time.
It's funny, Zach. I wish we would have talked about this before the show. Stephanie, I don't know if you saw them. I actually sent my drone up there and took some before and after pictures as that smoke came through.
Really?
Yeah. I could send them to you if you'd like later on. I have no problem with that. Really, you really don't know what kind of particles those are picking up and what you're really breathing in when it comes. I mean, okay, a wildfire. People assume, now I'm not a firefighter by any means, but common sense says, okay, it's a wildfire, it's trees, it's leaves. How bad could it be? But what about all the other particles they pick up traveling? And I get it, the whole, like we discussed earlier, the whole, for lack of better words, the whole stage of the way the world is today. People just need to heed those warnings. Thankfully, nobody died from that smoke inhalation that I'm aware of, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah. I did hear a doctor that was on the street in New York City that was talking about how right now breathing in 30 minutes of that smoke would be like inhaling 3 packs of cigarettes because it was just so thick. And that smoke, look, inhaling any kind of smoke in your lungs, that's not what your lungs are meant for. So, it can do a lot of damage to your lungs.
I'll have to take your word for it. I'm not a doctor, man. Just like I'm not a firefighter.
I smoked for a long time, but yeah. So, and my lungs pay for it. I walk up 3 stairs and I feel like I've walked up 30. So, and I quit smoking 16 years ago. What are some like give me some of the stories where you wish people would take more precaution that you've been involved with that are unnecessary? And we see this with what's bringing this up. It's this hurricane that's down in the Florida area. They were telling people, look, this hurricane is different. And there were people who were on TV right there saying, they say that every time. This hurricane's different. This one's different. This one. And 2 days later, you see them being rescued.
Well,
what are some of the things that,
I can't go into all the details.
Right.
But what was that? I think it was 2 weeks ago. We had a 26-year-old male go kayaking in a local lake that's no more than 6 foot deep. His kayak capsized. Young man drowned, was not wearing a life jacket. At the end of the day, because he didn't wear his life jacket, 40 people, including myself, divers, boat captains, all that had to put our lives at jeopardy because of one mistake that could have prevented it all and saved his life. If you don't want to leave, have life preservers. Always have a life jacket. Don't assume that because it's only 3 inches of water that it's not going to be bad, because you don't know what Mother Nature is going to push along with it. And that's the big thing. It's not about the house. It's not about the clothes. It's not about, I don't know, it looks like you have a record hanging behind you there, Zach. I can't really see it from here by the fish tank. But it's not about that. It's all about saving lives. And every time somebody's life is in jeopardy, whether you're search and rescue, whether you're a firefighter, whether you're police, they put their lives on the line to help you. So sometimes making poor choices puts others at risk as well.
Yeah. That's a Harley Davidson logo back there. So,
Cool.
you can't take the biker out of an idiot sometimes. So, and that's, I needed to rescue myself when I was run off the road 9 years ago now. So, but I didn't fall very far, but I fell pretty damn hard. So,
thankfully you were okay. No.
Yeah. What is the first thing that you guys have to prepare for any time that you go into a situation?
It's going to be, are we prepared? How can we do it safely? And more importantly, how can we do it professionally? Because this day and age, everybody has scanners. Everybody wants to go and see what's going on. So it's how do we keep the public from trying to get involved? For example, somebody could have jumped in that lake and said, oh, I'm going to go save them. What if that person's not a great swimmer? Or what if that person, gets injured? So it's all about the public safety, the communication, What resources do we need? How do we get the resources here safely? What's our closest resources? What could we do instantly? What could we have done differently than we did last time? You know, it's like a massive jigsaw puzzle that just never stops getting put together.
Is it machismo that's getting people to do stuff like that? Is it getting, is it almost like I don't know. I don't want to blame media for, I hate blaming media for things, but media covering the hero guy, is that one of the reasons why people are really trying to, you know, they're going to go and they're going to jump out there and they're going to try to be on the 5 o'clock news?
Listen, that's all good and well if you're properly trained.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, if you're a first responder, you have a, listen, if somebody falls off of a bridge and you have a rope with a life preserver on it, very easily you could throw that to them without putting your own life in jeopardy. And at the same time, you could be the hero for having something that you should have had going near the water to begin with, a life preserver. And
you guys,
you know,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I could add to that, you know, I don't want to keep hitting home about the life preservers, but we've had this year 14 drownings in northeastern PA. And it's just sad. They all, at one point, I mean, there's one or two that might not have been able to be prevented. I don't know the specifics on it, but for the most part, every water accident can be avoided at some point.
Dwayne, what does it do to your team when you guys go out there? You guys are fighting hard to save someone's life, and you're unable to do that. What does it do as a team? Does it bring you guys together? Do you guys use it as educational? Is it? I know it's got to be tough.
Is it? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. I'd like to answer that question with a question, if I may. Are you talking when I have to leave my family behind to go and do it, or when I can't go because my family or my job needs me? Or do you want me to address it from both ends?
Yeah, go for it. Address it from any end.
Know, I can tell you this. Every time I leave my house, my wife is worried. So, you know, granted, I'm limited on that stuff lately because, you know, times change, you know. I'm not 22 years old anymore, but, you know, there's that worry, you know, don't hurt yourself, you know, don't overdo yourself. But then when you're sitting here and going, I really want to go, but I'm so damn tired. I just, you know, it really sucks because I have to make that decision. Like, I can't go because I'm just not physically capable of it. So it's more of a mental thing. And I can't speak for the rest of the team, but I'm sure they all have their personal reasons for why or why not as well.
Stephanie?
Kind of going back to, you know, what you touched upon before. I know that you're always trying to kind of improve your gear too, for your team to be more efficient, expand, you know, the resources that you have so you can be able to serve more situations, serve more quickly, more efficiently.
Absolutely.
You know, are there any things in particular right now that the team is like, you know, we really need these things because of,
well,
you know,
the team just had to buy a brand new boat motor. Which that's a hit. But it's got to be, you know, you need it. Emergencies don't care about what you need. Emergencies care about what you can provide. You know, we're always after that. You know, we have to, you know, we're fully volunteer funded. So we don't get any state funding. We don't get any county assistance. So aside from things like this, there, you know, everybody's out there with a pail and bucket doing old-fashioned fundraising. I know we're always in need of extra backpacks to help people in the woods. I know we're always after life jackets, ropes, wetsuits, dry suits for ice rescue. Always after that gear, because the more gear we have, even communication equipment, team always needs radios. And Hopefully it hits a point where I never stop programming them for them because there's so many of them. But what are you going to do?
Right. Right. Well, obviously, monetary donations would help you all the best, but it's great for you to mention kind of supplies and resources that if maybe somebody listening said, "Hey, I want to be able to donate something to them." And
there's always batteries. There's light headlamps, small things, ponchos, a space blanket. A space blanket's so small, about probably the size of my cell phone, that'll keep the heat in and keep the water out for up to 24 hours. So that's amazing. Something that you could wrap a patient in and keep them warm on a cold winter day.
Wow. Okay.
So it's all the little things that people don't think about. It's always nice to have extra compasses. Always nice to have, so if somebody shows up from work and says, "Hey, I have my work truck. Here you go. We have an extra set of gear for you right here. Here you go." So it's always ongoing.
What's the process, Dwayne, when they call you in? Is it the police that call you in, or do you guys get notified by other resources?
It's all of the above. Typically, the way it starts is the police are notified. Police will do their thing, and after, I couldn't even tell you what their time windows are. Then you'll hear that call come out for the fire company. Then the fire company will say, "County, let's hit all the search teams," or "I need a drone," or "I need a boat," or "I need dogs," and it'll go from there, and it just kind of snowballs. But out of county, other counties will call us, other fire agencies will call us, other search agencies will call us. So our calls all come from different directions, where I don't know how it is in Colorado, but most people dial 911. There's a house fire. They send it right out. They got localized calling. We're all over the place. We can get a call tomorrow to go into New Jersey. And
I was going to ask you that, actually. Your service area is quite broad. You could be traveling over an hour to get to a scene. Is that right?
Yep.
Do you want to touch upon the areas that East Penn serves?
Monroe, Carbon, Pike, Wayne, Luzerne, and I don't know any of the New York counties up there, like right up in New York State stuff, like right across the border. I think Milford's up there, Port Jervis, the Hackettstown area, for those. I don't do much traveling into New York State these days, so I don't know what county is next to us in New York after Pike.
That's pretty good. What's it like having the temptation that you got something like, let's say, this dreadful thing going on in Hawaii, and what's difficult about saying, what, we can't deplete our services to give up and go help someone else?
And we have members that have done their due diligence and been on national agencies that have been there and done that. And, I can't really touch for myself personally on a national level, but, the biggest thing that people have to understand when something like Hawaii or Florida with the hurricanes and all that is going on is that things constantly change. They evolve. I know it's cliche, the world turns. Well, as something like Florida happens, the world turns, so does the hurricane, so does the news. It's, when a natural disaster happens, whether it's a fire, flooding, earthquake, no matter what the case is, I'll let you pick and choose. The list goes on.
Tornado right here in our area.
That's not the time to sit there and say the media is feeding us bullshit. That's the time to become a community, pull together. And that's what I honestly believe makes this country resilient.
I couldn't agree with you more. We say it every day. No one has to go it alone when we all come together. And that's the truth. We need to come together, and we need to make sure that, we realize this is We're one people, regardless of who we are. You know, we're one people. Do you guys have a training or that you guys offer, or is there a training? How does someone who's younger who wants to get into this, because like you said, you know, you're 26 now, you're no longer 22. How does somebody get into, you know, somebody who wants to help people and wants to volunteer? What do they got to go through to do what you do?
They can simply go to our website. I think you posted it, eastpennsar.net. They can reach out to the team right there. They'll get reached out to, and they'll get set up with the training. It goes through NASAR. I think it's nasar.gov, or I don't have it off the top of my head. Sorry, guys. Last minute. So, but if you at nasar.org, I think it is. If you Google it, it's National Association of Search and Rescue. But you can also, through eastpennsar.net, you can get on there and get all your training. We offer some free online classes. We offer, you know, in classroom classes. In fact, our chief, Roger Tobias, is an instructor for NASAR. So we offer direct training, and, you know, unfortunately, the members pay for it out of their pocket. They're anywhere from, I think it's $25 to I think $70, but the classes that are up there are like, I think they're like 60 hours or something like that. So it's really not that bad. But the whole thing is that you need the training to get out there. And, you know, it's great for a father-son, do something together. I've seen that in the past. You know, just a little bit of common sense and a little bit of dedication will go a long way.
You can, and you've already mentioned it, how dangerous it can be for somebody who goes out who's unprepared. Even if somebody doesn't want to join your program, is this a good program for them to take a look at to see, hey, you know, if I'm in a situation where, you know what, my situation that I was telling you about, we were 45 minutes from any rescue vehicles.
Yep.
If I would have been in which obviously the situation mine was in, the gentleman was gone. He was already deceased, but you know, there was still a chance of him breaking loose, you know, and he'd already been missing for 9 days. There's still that chance that he could have broken loose and he could have been gone another 9 days.
Yep.
Your training, that would be good for somebody to take a look at and say, hey, you know what? At least now I have an idea how to keep myself safe, so they're not trying to drain this river for two people.
Right. You know, it's I'm trying to think. I'm going to relate it to a story, a personal experience. And Stephanie, I think you're very well aware of this. So if you remember any of the details, please jump in. 2 years ago, there was a gentleman, 86 years old, by the name of Ronald Nichols. He lived over called the Twin Lakes. I forget the actual name of them. It's along 940. There's two big lakes on each side, and they look very similar. And the search went on, and it went on for almost, I think it was 14, 16 hours. And people started showing up at the park, and they were getting mad that they were turned away. And the whole thing is that when you go into something that's that big, it's basically a crime scene. You're not going to get back there without the training. So as much as I hate to say it, without the training, you're not going to be able to go on a large scale. But in your case, Zach, you know, a little training goes a long way. You know, I hate that. That's the only reference I have right now, man. So I don't mean no disrespect. I mean, you know, take a shot at my bad hair day if you want. I don't.
Would you say it slows the team down, though, if the public tries to get involved and delays you all from the minutes that might count for that particular situation in some cases?
I don't know so much that it slows the team down, but it'll definitely take away from the police department or the agency. I'm sure you have them out there by you, Zach, so add whatever. We have the Department of Forestry or the DCNR here. I'm sure you have your equivalent out there. We have our local police. We have our state police. We have our fire, police, so we rely, our public safety here in the community. So they're the ones that get distracted from it by trying to keep it secure and keep people out of there for us. So potentially it wouldn't necessarily slow the team down, I'd say, but it would definitely take away from the overall devotion that the situation might require, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
EMTs.
Sorry, Zach.
No, I was just saying the EMTs, emergency medical technicians. And I know that. Look, I know that everybody's curious. I mean, rubbernecking is not a problem because it's, because nobody does it. It's a problem because everyone does it. You see an accident and this happens. But there are times that, if you just keep moving along, there's more chance that we can save a life here. Right. So Stephanie, you were saying?
Yeah, no, you and your team do some things to help kids, right? With some safety measures from a younger age as well, right, Dwayne?
The Hug a Tree program, I think you're referring to.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I'm going to have to get you that info because it was updated and I just don't have the currents. But if you're looking for an overview, I'd be more than happy. Basically, it teaches a kid that if they wander from home and they get lost, there's a code word. So say Mike Jr. goes out for a walk in the woods. He's a little curious, doing some exploring on vacation. Well, he's taught a code word. And that code word becomes a safe word. And they tell him to not wander, but pick a tree and hug it and hold on until help comes. Because the farther you wander, the harder it is. But you'll know if the person is safe because of that safe word. If I'm called because your son is missing, you can say, Tatiana is his cousin's name, his favorite cousin. That's his safe word. Mike Jr., Tatiana, you here? Now he knows the safe word. He's okay to talk to. So not only does it keep him from wandering around, but it also, gives him an extra added security. And that goes back again, Zach, referring to the discussion we had earlier about the state of the world today.
Yeah, that's that's awesome. I've never heard of a program like that, and I really like that. I think it's one of the things that people end up doing is they move around too much and they get themselves further into a situation and get themselves in places they don't need to be. So I love the way that you guys are teaching kids that. That's
and wait, I'm sorry, Zach, go ahead. I got a little lag here for whatever reason.
No, go for it.
And two, with adults, back in the day, you had Alzheimer's, you had them locked in the nursing room.
Yeah.
And they got out. It was like a big ordeal. Everybody had to come in. Now, most days, this day and age, even though senior citizens have cell phones, if you have a loved one in a nursing home, please pay for that Find My Phone. Because there's only so many times legally that a cell phone can be pinged from a police department or a requesting agency. But if you have that Find My Phone, it might be an inconvenience, but it might save your loved one's life.
No, that's I love what you're saying. Hey, Dwayne, the last question that we've got for you, and then Stephanie's going to jump in and do her little part. What are some of the things that a donation to you is going to supply? What are some of the things that you guys make sure that money goes to?
Well, it makes sure that we stay in service by keeping our insurance current, because without that, we'll get decommissioned, I guess you could say, or taken out of service. We can keep our communications going. We can keep our pagers going. We can keep our water rescue team just got typed by, I think it was the Coast Guard, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not on the water rescue team, so I'm not 100% sure. It keeps going for training because that needs ropes, so much gear backup flashlights, backup safety gears in case a rope rescue comes up. So it's always ongoing. That can, even $5 can buy a case of water for the whole team to keep in their trailer. So every little bit helps, especially the way things are this day in the climate.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. Dwayne, what would be the last thing that you would tell somebody? What would be the first thing you would tell somebody when they were preparing to go out into the wild?
Two things. Take a compass and go to the store, even Walmart, and buy a roll of flagging tape. It's like a ribbon, a big roll of ribbon, but it doesn't disintegrate as easy. Tie it around the tree. If you want to find a path in, go ahead, but make sure you have something. I know the old cliche, leave some crumbs behind. Yeah, that's old school, very old school search and rescue, actually. But, buy some flagging tape in the hunting section, every 10, 15 feet, make sure it's bright, you can see it, know where it is, so that if you do slip, you do fall, or something does happen, we have a path to follow. We stand a better chance at helping you. You stand a better chance at helping yourself. And make sure you have a compass, because even if you fall and break a leg, you can give people a very good general idea of where you are just by having the basics of a compass and what color ribbon you put out there.
No, it's beautiful. What you're doing is such a wonderful thing, and I want to thank you for joining us. Stephanie, do you have anything else?
No. Thank you for being here and sharing all of that. I think that there's a lot of useful, information that somebody listening can definitely latch onto, and it could potentially help somebody. So thank you for sharing all of that. I wouldn't have thought of that. And we've spoken many a times about East Penn, and tonight I heard some things that I haven't heard.
Steph, if I can, I got some advice for you with the homestead.
Let's hear it.
buy battery packs for your cell phones. Okay. Amazon, $24. It does all types of USB ports, and it'll charge your cell phone up to 20 times.
We'll have to get back to another conversation.
Even in the woods, if you're going out, have one. Make sure your cell phone is charged, because you never know if you're going to fall, and that 911 center might have to call you back, and you have no battery.
Right. Yeah, I'll need some advice on a good set of walkie-talkies too, because we've been using those with the kids out there.
They're outdated. I got something better. It's all done via cell phone now. All
right. We'll talk. Thank you, Dwayne, so much. I'm excited.
Feel free to stick around. And
I was just going to say, I think I'm going to just sit back and just enjoy the rest of it. I didn't check the chat. Was there anything in
sounds
chat?
Great. Please do.
Nope, nothing in chat. Right.
No, nothing in the chat right now. But Stephanie, you're up.
Yeah. So hopefully you are tuning in from our Community Pay It Forward ONEHOPE fundraising page on Facebook. But if you're not, definitely join us there. My link tree is actually right underneath my name. Usually it is one of the first links right on top there if you go to my link tree, and you could join the group and be a part of every single month when we highlight a really great nonprofit. But what you see on the screen right now is East Penn Search and Rescue's fundraiser for this month. Really excited to have Dwayne. We'll have him back mid-month, so definitely tune into that. But you can take your cell phone out, open your camera, hold it up to that QR code. It'll take you right to the fundraising link where every single purchase will support East Penn Search and Rescue on their mission to save more lives and help more people, in these emergency situations. So definitely check that out. If you need any recommendations, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And you can do that right through our group on Facebook if you have any questions. But let's dive in. I thought the purchase with purchase promotion for September was really exciting. So that's what I thought would be fun to highlight. And I know we haven't dove into too much wine per se lately. We've been doing more, fun kind of pairings and some different things. So I thought it would be fun to highlight the purchase with purchase promotion. And there's no better way to wrap up summer and head into fall than with crisp and refreshing wines. So We have you covered with the fall purchase with purchase trio. You are going to be able to unlock 35% off with the fall trio when you purchase 6 or more bottles. You will see the savings offer pop up right on your screen when supporting through that fundraising link that's going to support East Penn Search and Rescue. So I'm going to go dive right in and just tell you a little bit about the wines that are in this trio that you're getting. The first one being the Reserve Prosecco, which is from Italy. I know you've got a beautiful shot of that. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
and
Stephanie,
I would just like to bring up one more thing. It's not only 35% off, but that's also 2 donations in there. One to Dwayne and Penn Rescue, but also to ONEHOPE Wine Foundation.
Correct. Yeah, that is right. And actually, I mean, there's even additional. So you're building a box of 6 or more. So you're getting at least 10% off of that, plus another 35 with this trio. So the discounts definitely stack. Of course, you know that Wine Club has the best benefits.
Yep.
And every single purchase gives back to the cause of your choice. So, you know, as a Wine Club member, you can continue to support East Penn Search and Rescue way beyond this event and this fundraiser and all of that. Just select them within your account. And, you know, every time you purchase a gift or refill your wine rack, the donation goes to them, which is that's what I love about this is you get to choose. But what you see on the screen is the Italian Reserve Prosecco, which is made from Galera grapes, and it's balanced and fruity with a touch of sweetness that adds to the volume and accentuates the fruit. A dry finish with plentiful bubbles makes this a delightful choice. So in this one, you'll see notes of pear, green apple, and fresh bubbles. Pairings would be fruit and cheese plate, seafood chowder, lemon cake. I am personally known to throw a splash of my favorite juice into a bubbly, just like this one, to mix it up a bit. And that makes it, you know, you can mix it up easily that way. So that's the bubbly. Definitely crisp and refreshing for this time of year.
Well, let me ask you real quick about this. What is the difference between that Prosecco and this wonderful bottle of Her Story that we have here?
Oh, goodness. The taste is different. I don't know how else to say.
Is it just really the taste, or is it made differently? Do you know?
So the grapes come from a region in Italy for the Prosecco. So the grapes are different. The Her Story is California. So that, it's going to be, they're going to be a little bit different. And they say where the grapes are grown and the regions have a lot to do with the taste of the wines too, you know, from the dirt and the soil to the sun exposure, the climate, you know, how close it is to the ocean or inland. Like there are so many factors. And now I am not by any means a sommelier or any kind of wine expert. I'm just a mom that likes to drink wine and help fundraise. But I do know that, you know, California is known for their grape growing regions in certain areas. Same thing with different areas in Europe. And you're going to find that maybe the same type of grape is going to be different coming from different places and taste a little bit differently. So our winemaker's job is to find the best grape growing regions and what fits, you know, the collections that they're trying to make here at ONEHOPE, because we are a private wine label. So our winemakers do make our wines and they do source the grapes from different areas. So we do have grapes that are grown on our property in Napa, but our winemakers do source grapes from other areas in California, other regions, sometimes very specific regions, like for example, off the top of my head, the Paso Robles Cabernet, which is delicious. It's one of my favorites, and it's one of the top sellers. If you really love a good bold Cabernet, that comes from Paso Robles. So I hope that makes sense. But that is
absolutely. And this next picture, I commented to you earlier. This wine it looks delicious.
That is our Sonoma Coast Reserve Rosé. It is delicious. I like to describe this one as just crisp and refreshing. I personally enjoy this one with a wide variety of foods also. I don't know if you're supposed to, pair it with as wide a variety as I do, but I think that this rosé really pairs with a lot of things too. And I'm sorry you haven't tasted it yet. So we're definitely going to have to make sure that we get one of those in your next box, Zach, because not only is it beautiful and you can drool over that picture with the cherries right there.
I was going to say, I want the bowl of cherries too, though.
But it is a really delicious wine also. So this Reserve Rosé, and this kind of goes back to what I just said, is from the Sonoma Coast AVA in Sonoma, California. So that's where the grapes were cultivated to make this wine. So this beautifully colored wine is made from Merlot grapes and is an elevated, medium-bodied rosé. What you'll find here is notes of sour cherry, pomegranate, and minerals. See, even the minerals kind of sometimes go into that tasting profile in the wine. Pairs perfectly with a strawberry salad, melon and prosciutto, hummus, and seared scallops. So, really, really delicious wine. It's a beautiful bottle. It's a beautiful gift if someone really enjoys rosé. It is not sweet. I like to say it's crisp and refreshing. I do get that question about rosé sometimes. Is it super sweet? No. It's more of like that sour cherry, but you do taste, at least I do, taste the cherry and the pomegranate in it.
Well, I just know it is a beautiful picture, and it really looks good in that picture. And then we got one more bottle, right?
One more, and this is one of your favorites, Zach. Our Vintner Collection Moscato. So hello to all the sweet wine lovers. This one is for you. Our Vintner Collection Moscato, perfumes of orange blossom and citrus zest, bringing bright and sweet flavors of candied lemon and nectarine to this beautiful wine. This one has notes of nectarine, orange blossom, candied lemon, and citrus zest. It pairs well with dried apricots, Marcona almonds, aged Gouda cheese, honeycomb, and sugar snap pea salad. So if you're in the mood for something sweet, this wine is a choice. It's just like dessert. So if you're a sweet wine lover, this is your selection right here. But definitely be sure to, when you're on there supporting East Penn Search and Rescue and you're checking everything out, definitely check out the new enhancements to our wine club, which include $500 worth of additional benefits like complimentary wines and a tasting experience at our winery in Napa. So definitely check that out. We'll touch upon that a little bit more at a later time, but our wine club just got even sweeter.
Well, this is great. Once again, the special is you get 35% off of the fall trio. And again, you get to donate to 2 different causes, which is fantastic. 9.7 million.
We're at 9.7 million. I'm waiting to hear from home office when we hit that $10 million mark. But it's a nice feeling, even the last few years, to really see the impact just that my team and I have been able to make for organizations, across the country. I love that we have this platform to be able to really provide the resources where they're needed most, right? Close to home, like East Penn Search and Rescue.
Yep.
Those wines.
Yeah. So it's just such a wonderful program, such a wonderful way to give back. But here is our Community Pay It Forward ONEHOPE fundraiser page. And we encourage you, share this page with others, get on here, tell us your favorite recipe. Tell us something that you've done with your ONEHOPE wines. Go get yourself a couple bottles, support the mission, and let's really do some good things, and let's help some people out as they're helping other people out. And then as you look down, as you scroll down this page, you're going to see some wonderful, wonderful things talking about certain sales. And just other wines and wonderful pairings and stuff like that. Stephanie does such a great job doing this. That I've always loved that that picture. I think that's so cool looking. But here's the margaritas that we're talking about. You know, we're kind of leaving the margarita season a little bit, you know, with the summertime. But it's going to be nice to
let
relive,
go.
right? Yeah.
I don't want to let go. But that photo that you really loved, that's actually a picture of our estate in Napa. That's the dining table outside. So if you go and visit our winery, that's the estate that's right there, right next to the winery. It's a beautiful place. And now our wine club members are going to be getting complimentary tastings. So that's, you know, another perk to being a wine club member and supporting causes, you know, with each purchase. So,
well, there's never there's never not a reason to join. I mean, great way to give, great way to share, great way to do things. So
holiday season is almost upon us too. So it's a great way to gift and a really easy way to kind of customize really nice gifts.
Come on, Steph. What do you recommend I take on vacation with the family in October?
Ooh.
2 cases.
Ocean City, and there's 5 of us: me, my wife, my parents, and my brother.
We'll curate
2
a pack
cases
for you guys.
And it's my father's birthday too while we're down there. So there's a little twist for you.
Wonderful. No, I love that. Well, I'll need to learn a little bit more about what they normally like to drink, and we can mix and match and build whatever you all need for your vacation.
I'll have to get with you on that for sure.
Perfect.
So, well, Stephanie, thank you so very much. Dwayne, thank you for stepping in. You can bring those pictures in 2 weeks with you, right? When we come back on for the halfway show?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep. I'll get with Stephanie. I'll make sure, Stephanie, make sure he has my information. You know, anybody else who wants it, feel free. You know, give him my Facebook, obviously, not my personal cell number.
Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, you know.
You can find all of the information right there at eastpennsar.net. That's eastpennsar.net. Save and rescue. Dwayne, again, thank you very much for stepping up and stepping in.
Thank you.
Stephanie, as always, my love to you. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. And we will be talking to both of you guys very, very soon.
You got it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Hey, guys. Coming up at the top of next hour, we are going to be playing the episode of Footprints Forward with the parents of our newest family member, Aaron. I think what I want to do now is I want to play the episode with Aaron so you can get the full grasp of this story, because this story is just tragic in so many ways, but it's also so helpful because there's so many people that have done so many things for these families, and the way that these families have pulled their way out of this desperate time. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I really hope that this can be meaningful for you. So we're going to watch the one with Aaron, and then that's going to lead to the replay of this last Monday's event. And coming up next Monday, you would think